We're going to be reading from the sentence which starts with the number 7. So I'll just read that for us. So that's chapter 10, verse 7. Therefore, Jesus said again, "Very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who have come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I am the good shepherd. The shepherd lays down his life for the sheep." I'm just going to welcome Greg to the stage.
So the topic tonight is "This is life. What will really satisfy?" And we've kind of discussed that a little bit. You've heard a little bit of Debbie's story. And probably for me, as I listen to Debbie, the whole eating thing, I just can't get my head around that, eating that amount of food. But particularly for me at the moment, because I'm on a really annoying diet at the moment. I've got a medical condition and they're trying to work out how to deal with it. So I'm off all gluten and all sugar, which is miserable. And I got taken off all gluten, all sugar just before Christmas. I know, it really was the most boring Christmas. Couldn't really eat anything that was nice and still can't. I wonder if you've ever been on a diet like that. I wonder if you've ever been on a diet at all. When I was at uni at Edinburgh, I had a mate called Stewie, and we set him a series of challenges. And we had this thing about on Earth, so if we set him a challenge, he had to do it. So for a week, we said, "Stewie, all you can eat is meat." And he said, "All right." He's a rugby player, not much between his ears. And so all he ate was meat, literally. 5 days in, we gave up. He didn't give up, we gave up. He stank. Yeah, absolutely reeked. So about 3 weeks later, we said, "Okay, here's a new challenge, chocolate." That's it, all week, 7 days. 4 days in, he's hardly keeping chocolate down. He's vomiting in the loo in between lectures. And again, we gave up. Stewie 2-0. And then about 2 weeks later, we went for fruit. All he could eat was fruit. And he ended up turning yellow, which was... So again, we lost our bottle about 4 or 5 days in because he went yellow. And our diet, it kind of does affect us. And as we think about this question, what will really satisfy? Sometimes we can find ourselves in life kind of living on this kind of diet of Mars bars. You know, no nutritionist ever says to you, "Hey, look, you need to go on a diet, all you can eat is Mars bars." And if somebody said that to you, you'd be thrilled, probably, for the first hour or two. But then you start to feel pretty sick, because a Mars bar is great. So you may not like them, but I love them. And they're tasty, you get a sugar rush, it satisfies you, but then it fades, and then it's gone. And then you want it again, so you have another one, and it's tasty, and it satisfies you for a moment, and then it's gone. And so you can spend your life perhaps looking for satisfaction, like living on a diet of Mars bars, where you think you found it, and it lasts for a little while, and then it's gone. I wonder whether that's your experience of life. Perhaps you've searched for satisfaction in academic results, or even in sporting achievement, or in a relationship with someone. And for a moment you've gone, this is it, and then it's faded and gone. And the thing is, this becomes a pattern for us, that we look for the next best thing. So I've got an iPhone 6, and thrilled when I got it, but soon there will be an iPhone 7, and this will become redundant. It's like a diet of Mars bars. And what we're looking at here, as we look at the Bible, as we look at Jesus, is asking the question, can he satisfy fully? Can you really find full satisfaction in life? And does this guy, Jesus, have the answer? So let's have a look at what he says. Well, he starts pretty randomly. Therefore, Jesus said again, Very truly, I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. Now, what on earth is he talking about? Now, he's not actually saying he is a real gate. That'd be silly, wouldn't it? It's a metaphor. I am the gate for the sheep. A gate to what? A gate to safety, a gate to pasture, as he goes on to explain. He is the way, the opening to this satisfaction, to this, well, we'll see what he says. And for who? Well, for sheep, people who follow, people who trust in him as the gate. And then he says this, all who have come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. So what he's saying is, anybody who has said that they have the answer, that they have the way, is really like a thief or a robber. They're tricking you. That actually it will fade, it'll disappear. It's a huge claim to make. And as we unpack it, you'll see it's an outrageous claim to make, that he is the answer to life, and that anything else just won't cut it. Have you ever had anything stolen? I hadn't until relatively recently. I live down near Oxford, and with my wife and my 3 children in a little cottage, and it's very quaint and very, very safe, our village. Very safe. To the point where at least once a week we'll accidentally leave the car keys in the door. That kind of safe. And in fact, we did it about 3 days ago. And you wake up in the morning, and where are the car keys? They're in the front door. It's that kind of village in the edge of the Cotswolds. And a little while ago, we had our shed broken into, and the contents of our shed from our garden stolen. And it was a real shock to us. It doesn't sound like a big deal when I say it to you, but it was a big deal for us. I had my bike stolen. I loved my bike. And the thing that was most strange was it felt like we'd been kind of violated. To get to our shed, they had to climb over a fence. They had to really come very close to where we were sleeping, and our children were sleeping, and break into our shed and take the contents of our shed. And it was a horrible feeling to go through. The day before, there was my bike, I'd ridden it, and the next day it was gone, never to be seen again, disappeared. And here Jesus says this, all who have come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. He is relating claims of satisfaction, claims to the answer of life, to like a thief, and it will fade and disappear and be gone. And that these things are lies, but he tells the truth. It's a huge claim to make. So what does he mean by this gate? Well, as we continue, he says this, I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. If you enter through him, he's saying, you will be saved. So the question we have to ask is, saved from what? And that they will come in and go out and find pasture. They will be satisfied. So if you enter through him, you will be saved and satisfied. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Jesus is saying that if you come to him, he will save you, satisfy you, and offers fullness of life. Now, you can't make a bigger claim than that, can you? That's not offering you a Mars bar. That's a huge claim to make. But what does he mean? What does he mean by that? What does it mean, and how on earth can he offer that satisfaction? Well, you see, the thing is, what he's saying is if we follow other things, if we seek satisfaction elsewhere, we basically spend our life living as if God's not there. Living as if God is absent, and trying to seek our well-being, our worth, our satisfaction in life, perhaps in many different things over the course and period of maybe 60, 70, 80 years. And that is not only disastrous, according to Jesus, but also an offense to God, because he made you. As David was saying, he is our creator, and he made you for a purpose to be in a relationship with him. He wants to know you And he made you for that purpose. And yet, every single one of us seeks satisfaction elsewhere and not in him. And the Bible calls that sin. And it does end, like he describes here, in death and destruction. There is a consequence for ignoring God. There is a consequence that all of us will face, not only physical death as we get older and decay, but also we will stand before God and be held to account for how we have lived, but also how we have related to him. That is the claim of the Christian faith. That is the claim that Jesus makes. And as we stand before him, and our lives are judged, and the way we have related to him is fully exposed, all of us are found wanting. All of us. And we have to face the consequences. The Bible calls it hell. Now, that is not pleasant. Yet Jesus says, I am the gate. Anyone who enters through me will be saved. That consequence, that punishment, that judgment, they'll be saved from it. And they will come in and go out and go to pasture, that they will find fullness of life. It's a huge claim to make. I wonder what you're thinking. I wonder what you think about that. You might sit there and go, fine. We hear a lot of promises from a lot of people all the time. Why is this guy any different? Why is he any different? And how on earth can a fella 2,000 years ago in a country a long, long way from here have an impact on my life now? How on earth is that possible? And how on earth can he save me? Say God is there. Say that I do live as if he's not. Say I do face the consequences for it. How on earth can this guy make a difference? Well, what he says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He lays down his life for the sheep. The way that Jesus saves us is that he does what we cannot do. He lived a life with God fully. He didn't ignore him. He lived the perfect life that we haven't lived. And then he went to the cross and died in our place, paying the penalty that we deserve. Why? Because he loves you and he knows you. And he willingly died for you, so that you could be saved from the consequence of ignoring God. But not just that, so that you could have life. Life as it is meant to be, as he designed it to be. Life that satisfies, life that is full. Life that is full of forgiveness and worth and value and peace and hope. And that satisfies beyond the successes, that gives a peace and a joy that is not affected by the circumstance. Not that you're totally stoic and you just don't feel anything, but that you know that you're valued and you're loved, not because of what you do, but because of what he has done and how he sees you. A life that leads to something, not to a dead end of darkness, but a life that goes on. Think of your life a little bit like this. I'm not a mathematician. This helps me. Okay, just say for your argument's sake, generally life around the globe is about 70 years, okay? So divide 70 up into the days of the week, Monday to Sunday. That's about 10 years per day, okay? Now work out which day you're on. Say you start on Monday. Which day are you on? I'm about Thursday lunchtime, okay? Where are you? Do the maths. Some of us are slightly harder, okay? So I'm Thursday lunchtime. And for all of us, Sunday is coming. And we will live our lives trying to perhaps have a really good Sunday afternoon, retire early. That's the dream, isn't it? Be healthy enough to enjoy Sunday afternoon. But ultimately, we know that Sunday night is coming. We may really look after our bodies and get a bank holiday, but you know, that's it. That is it. And when you think of life like that, even though you are young now, it's relatively short, isn't it? Yet what Jesus offers is life now and in its fullness, and a life that goes way beyond into next week. And here's the thing. When he talks about that life at the end of the Bible, it is an incredible life that he talks about. That the adventure really begins next week. The word that is used to describe what it's going to be like is new. And for us, we go, okay, new, but it fades. But the word new that he uses in the Bible to describe what it's going to be like, this life that he offers, is present continuous. It's new and it gets newer. We can't understand that because we live in a world that decays, time that passes, bodies that get older. But he's saying, I offer you life now, peace now, forgiveness now, even though you don't deserve it, through my death on the cross. And with that, I offer life that never ends. A life that will get better and better. A life where you'll know who I am and see me face to face. That's an incredible offer. How do we know it's true? Well, he didn't just die on the cross. He rose from the dead. Fully dead to fully alive. An incredible thing, described in the Bible, called the resurrection. Jesus proved that he was who he said he was. He proved that he conquered death. He proved that the penalty for sin had been paid on the cross, and it was for you. And he is alive, and you can know him just as Debbie does. One of my favourite movies, I have a lot of favourite movies, but this is one of them, is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You know that one? If you don't, I'm going to ruin it. Indy is on this Last Crusade, and he is trying to find, he's an archaeologist. It sounds really dull if you've never seen it. It's actually much better than it sounds. And he's trying to find this crucible with the elixir of life in. It's supposed to be the cup that Jesus used in the Passover, in the Last Supper, and it's supposed to make you live forever. And he's done all the study, and his dad's been studying it all his life, and he goes on this challenge. He ends up in Petra in Jordan, and there's the baddies and the goodies, and the baddies get there first, and they capture his dad, and there's these 3 challenges that you have to go through to get to this elixir of life, this immortality. And they want him to go through these challenges, and he doesn't really want to, so they shoot his dad. And his dad is dying, and so he knows he has to go and get this thing to save his dad. And he goes through the first challenge. The penitent man must kneel, and he ducks, and these blades go over his head. It's quite exciting. And then the second one is the name of the Lord is holy, and he has to spell out the name of God, and if he doesn't get it right, he'll fall and die. And then he gets to this final challenge, and it's called the leap of faith. And those of you who've seen it, he's standing on the edge of this hugely deep cliff. You can't actually see the bottom. And the entrance is to the cave where this elixir of life is just there. But it's a long way away. No way you could jump it. And this chasm is before him. And he has got all the evidence of his dad's life work that there is actually a bridge there. That actually the elixir of life is there, and he can just walk across and get it. And he's got the evidence before him, but he has to step off. And there's a moment where he reads it, he looks at it, he reminds himself, he's studied it, and then he steps. And the bridge is there, and he walks across, and he gets it, and he saves his dad. It's a lovely story. Here's the point. The evidence for the resurrection is there for you to look at. Pete, in one of the lunchtimes, mentioned it earlier in the week. Please don't live your life ignoring it. Please don't live your life not finding out who this guy Jesus is. Because if he is who he says he is, if he has done what the Bible has said he has done, if he rose from the dead, he is of infinite importance. And what he offers to you is life. Forgiveness for your rejection of God. Peace and a relationship with him now. And life that never ends, that gets better and better and better and better. Please take the time this week to find out for yourself. And perhaps you're sitting here thinking, do you know what? It's a nice story, but it's not for me. Can I challenge you to revisit it, to talk to your friend? You've got the time now. Life seems to get faster and faster and faster. A moment ago I was at university. Now I've got 3 kids. I don't know how that's... Well, I do know how it's happened, but I don't know how I've got there. But life gets quicker and quicker, and university is a wonderful time to stop and ask these big questions and to find out what really satisfies. Please reconsider. But perhaps you're here tonight and you're going, do you know what? I've had a look. I've chatted to my friend, but the cost just seems so high. Please hear tonight that what he offers is life in all its fullness. And even though it looks a long way off and you don't know whether the bridge is there, perhaps you've got friends here tonight that are standing on the other side and going, it's true. And what he offers is better than anything that you have right now. Please think about it. Talk to your friend. Ask the hard questions. Turn to him as your Saviour. And perhaps tonight you're there and you're going, I believe it's true and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about it. I want to take that step and I want to meet him personally. Well, it's very, very simple. There's no test. There's no sign on the dotted line. It's simple. It's repentance and belief. Those are the words that Jesus uses himself. It's to turn from living not with God to turn to living for him, to recognize that Jesus is who he says he was, God himself, to acknowledge that, to admit that you have not lived for him, but you've lived against him, and to say sorry, and to say, yes, I'm in Jesus. Thank you for dying for me. Please forgive me. Please come and live in me. I want to know you, and I commit to living with you and for you now and forever. If that's you, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to say a prayer. That sounds really odd. And some of you, that may be, oh no. Don't worry about it. If you don't want to do it, zone out. That's okay. But if it's you tonight and you can feel that and you're thinking, do you know, that's something I'd like to do, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close my eyes. I'm just going to speak to God. There's no fancy words. Maybe you want to echo it in your heart, in your mind. And when you're finished and we're listening to some more jazz, perhaps you want to tell the person next to you. So I'm going to close my eyes. Feel free to do the same. If you don't want to, just zone out for a few minutes. God, we thank you that you care about us. Thank you that you care about me. Thank you that Jesus is the gate, the way to life. I am sorry for ignoring you. I'm sorry for living and doing things that I shouldn't have done. Please forgive me. Thank you for Jesus' death on the cross, paying for my sin. Please come and live in me now. I commit to following you. Amen. Amen just means I agree. Well, thank you for listening. We're doing a series of events this week, just trying to provoke you, to prick you, to give you an opportunity to stop in the busyness of university life and as life gets faster, to really consider the bigger questions of life and what really satisfies. Please don't be satisfied with Mars bars all your life and look into who Jesus really is. We're going to listen now to some music. Please feel free to hang around. There's drinks. If you want to ask questions, you want to come ask Debbie some questions about her rowing, her life, please do that. But also, why don't you turn to the person that you've come with tonight, or the people that you're sitting around, and ask them what they make of this guy Jesus and his claim and the need to be saved. So let's just take a few minutes doing that as we listen to music and then move around and chat all you like.